Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, September the 17th, and time once again for the mailbag. Hope you guys have been doing great. Not really a whole heck of a lot of news except to talk about going to BookNet Fest, which, remember, I was saying, I'm not sure about how it's going to turn out this year. Turned out amazing. In fact, I had a much better time, even though the conference itself was a little bit less attended than it was last year. A lot of the big name booktubers weren't there. Didn't matter. I had absolutely the best time this year. I think it's because I did a lot more social stuff too. Just hanging out with people, If I hung out with you there, you know who you are. It was great fun. And I'm looking forward to doing it again next year. It was really a good time of just friendship and bonding and eating and drinking and silly games and fun stuff. So good times, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to next year on that. Otherwise, yeah, let's go ahead and dig into these books, shall we? See what we have this week. This is looking like a very random penguin-heavy mailbag this time, and that's who this one is from, so we'll start here. Okay, well that was fast. I wasn't expecting to see this one this quickly. This is the finished copy of Priest of Bones. It's a new book by Peter McLean. It starts a series, probably a trilogy, called War for the Rose Throne. And it is from Ace Books, and I've already gotten this as an ARC, but I'll just go ahead and reread. I have to do it this way. The war is over, and Army Priest Thomas Piety heads home with Sergeant Bloody Ann at his side. But things have changed while he was away. His crime empire has been stolen, and the people of Ellenburg, his people, have run out of food and hope and places to hide. Thomas sets out to reclaim what was his, with help from Ann, his brother Jochen, and his new gang, the Pious Men. But when he finds himself dragged into a web of political intrigue, once again everything gets more complicated. As the Pious Men fight shadowy foreign infiltrators in the backstreet taverns, brothels, and gambling dens of Thomas's old life, it becomes clear the war is only just beginning. Okay then. And this is not, such a big fat epic fantasy, after all. Peter McLean, Priest of Bones. And this is a nice sturdy box from HarperCollins. And this is the finished copy of Walter John Williams' The Accidental War. This is already out. It came out on the 4th of September from Harper Voyager. And this is a military SF novel set in his Praxis universe, in which he has done one previous trilogy, but apparently you can get into this one without having had to read the earlier one. Let's see, it says, The Accidental War ushers in a new age of Walter John Williams, kicking off a brand new series that picks up where the Dread Empire's Fall series left off, making it a perfect fit for fans eager to return to the world, and for brand new readers looking to dive into the series that cemented Williams' place as a master of the genre. Sidelined for their unorthodox tactics by a rigid, tradition-bound military establishment, Captains Gareth Martinez and the Lady Sula have done their best to occupy themselves while in exile. Their lethal skill set is no longer needed, and they're quickly running out of patience to exercise the lethal skills they were born to use in fighting the enemy. When economic setbacks lead to strife, Terrans become scapegoats, and Martinez and Sula find themselves thrust into a war that no one planned, no one expected, and no one knows how to end. Now Martinez, Sula, and their Confederate Nikki Severn must escape the clutches of their enemies, rally the disorganized elements of the fleet, and somehow restore the fragile peace, or face annihilation at the hands of a vastly superior force. Walter John was one of the guests of honor at Helsinki Worldcon last year. Really, really nice guy. And like I said, this is out, The Accidental War. It is now out from Harper Voyager. And a nice chunky random penguin box. And here we have, in hardcover, the finished copy of Dracula by Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker. And of course, Dacre Stoker is in fact a descendant, a great-grandnephew, in fact, of Bram Stoker. And the whole idea behind Dracula, well, it goes like this. When Bram Stoker first submitted Dracula to his UK publisher in 1897, he included a preface warning readers that the events here described really took place. However, in the wake of Jack the Ripper's reign of violence, Stoker's publisher feared London could not handle the author's claim that a supernatural beast stalked their streets. They removed the statement from the manuscript along with the first 100 pages. The only original draft of the classic novel believed still in existence begins on page 102, and no one alive has seen the original 100 pages. What was in those missing pages? With special access to Stoker's notes, texts, and various materials, Best-selling authors Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker go back to Dracula's and Bram Stoker's origins in the supernatural suspense novel Dracula, which comes out on the 2nd of October. And it's the first prequel authorized by the Stoker estate. Featuring fictional characters and historical figures, Dracula follows Bram Stoker and his siblings as they hunt a dark and powerful presence from their childhood home in Ireland across Europe to a final confrontation not to be missed. Certain to be a significant publishing event, Dracula is already set to hit big screens, so the movie rights have already been acquired. Oh, with Andy Muschietti directing. He directed the remake of It. Okay, well, this could be fun. All right, I have decided to go ahead and add this to my 12 Days of Halloween coverage this year, so you don't need to persuade me to review it. It's definitely on the TBR for that. But Dracula arrives. No, I'm not going to do the accent. That's stupid. On October the 2nd. And here we have another thick packages this week. This is a big fat one from Bloomsbury. I don't hear from Bloomsbury that much. Nice to hear from them again. Let's see. Okay, well, this is something kind of remarkable. This is a massive, big, thick, fat arc and beautifully produced. Look at all that, like, shiny foil stamping and everything. This is for a new novel coming out in February of 2019 called The Priory of the Orange Tree. And this is by Samantha Shannon, who wrote the Bone Season trilogy. And let's see, it's a trailblazing, female-centric epic high fantasy about a world on the brink of war with dragons, and the diverse group of women who must lead the fight to save it. Okay. The House of Berethnet, it says, has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabran IX must give birth to a daughter to protect her realm from destruction and the possible extinction of her royal bloodline. But assassins are getting closer to her door. Iad Durian is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Iad keeps a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Okay. Across the Dark Sea, Tane has trained all her life to be a dragon rider, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos, the dragons, are rising from their sleep. Golly, okay. And like I said, this comes out February the 26th. It's 848 big fat pages, I guess, of girls fighting dragons. Can't go wrong with that, right? But now this is interesting. I have seen two versions of this arc. One of them has the actual art that will be on the dust jacket of the hardcover, and then like this is different. You know, this has, you know, like the taglines and so interesting, maybe. But this is not, by the way, YA, and not just because of how thick it is. Samantha Shannon is not a YA writer. The Bone Season was not YA. And neither is The Priory of the Orange Tree. As I said, available February the 26th. Let me know in the comments. Okay, now I have an envelope with some multiple items, and it looks like it kind of got ripped in the mail. Books look okay. Anyway, this is something else from World Weaver Press. Now, some of you will remember, this is a small press that I've been hearing from more and more lately. They did the solar punk anthologies, which a lot of you guys were really interested in, and so I'll be reading some stories from those for my very next Daily Shorts episode. I don't know when that will be. But, so yeah, more from World Weaver Press. Let's see what we have this time. All right, so first off, we have Black Pearl Dreaming. The author is K. Bird Lincoln. And it's an urban fantasy novel, apparently. It's part of the Portland Hafu series. And the first book was Dream Eater, which I believe they probably sent me. And I probably have in my stack somewhere. So this is the second one. Let's see, in the second Portland Hafu novel, Half Baku, Koi Pierce visits Japan, looking for answers to her father's mental decline and encountering kidnappings, dark secrets, an imprisoned dragon, and an impossible choice. With the help of powerful new friends, Koi defeated her dragon enemy in Portland. Now no longer able to deny her dream-eating powers or the real reason for her father's mental decline, she flies to Tokyo with her new kitsune love, okay, Kin, and the trickster Kwaskui, seeking answers. But secrets from Ken's past and kind politics threaten to unravel their newfound trust, and someone in Tokyo is desperate to kidnap a Baku. Koi must untangle a long history of pain and deceit in order to save her father, an imprisoned dragon, and herself. Okay then, so Black Pearl Dreaming, sequel to Dream Eater. This is available October the 16th. And then this next one looks like it could be kind of cute. It's called Jack Jetstark's Intergalactic Freak Show. The author is Jennifer Lee Rossman. This comes out December the 4th. It's a science fiction novel pitched as Heroes meets Firefly about the genetically engineered quote-unquote freaks of a traveling space carnival who find themselves at the front lines of a universe at war. Jack Jetstark travels the universe to seek out the descendants of superpowered freaks created long ago by Vescorp scientists. The vibrations encoded in a particular song transform the members of Jack's crew into a fire breather and an angel, a wild man and telepathic conjoined triplets, so they hide the truth of who they really are with the theatrics of a carnival. The song plays every night through the receptor Jack carries with them, but when one night it has a different ending and their temporary powers become permanent, Jack believes the change is a signal from the woman who sent him on this quest in the first place. He and his freaks must navigate a universe at war to protect the love of his life, but does the ruler of Vescorp really need protecting? Oh, and then it says, Jennifer Lee Rossman, the author, is a disabled and autistic freak, and proudly so. I'm assuming she wrote this bio herself. Her work has been featured in many anthologies, and her debut novella, Anachronism, was published by Crystal Inc. in 2018. Okay, then. All right, so I guess this is Own Voices. But anyway, could be interesting. Jack Jetstark's Intergalactic Freak Show, available December the 4th. And then last up from World Weaver, we have Detox in Letters by Cheryl Lowe. This looks like another urban fantasy. It's the sequel to Vanity and Dust, and yes, I think I probably have that laying around somewhere. But let's see, it's about a strange madness that grips the residents of an isolated realm as they begin to remember what the world was like before the oppressive rule of the queen who keeps them all drugged with magical dust. Okay. Welcome to the realm where magic is your drug, your poison, and your only hope. An illness is spreading through the city, marking the sick in mysterious letters scrawled across their skin. What is first thought to be madness reveals itself to be an awakening as residents rediscover themselves, their pasts, and their long-forgotten magic. Things the queen wants to remain buried. Things she will sacrifice her own children to suppress. Mercy has never been a staple of the realm. Treachery, blood, and magic steeps the city as the rebel leader, Red, seeks to topple the tower. Princess Faye eyes her mother's throne, and Prince Vaughn must decide whether to submit to his mother's terrible demand. Okay, well, there you are. So it's that kind of a thing, and it is available September the 18th from World Weaver Press. Detox in Letters. Okay, then, very interesting. Now, let's see. Next up, this one is from Random Penguin. And this is Bright Ruin. This is book 3 in the Dark Gifts series by Vic James, and it follows Gilded Cage and Tarnished City. Okay? And it's a dystopian trilogy, it says. The people of Britain rise up against their magically gifted masters. They must break the system or be broken. Okay, then, well, I don't want to read too much about the plot here for spoilers, but I guess you get the general premise from what I just read. So yeah, this is one of those trilogies that, I've been looking at and eyeballing as I get each book in, and it looks kind of interesting. So now with Bright Ruin out, maybe I can check all of these out. But Bright Ruin, it will be available October the 9th from Del Rey Books in hardcover. And looking to see what we have next. This one, oh, it's from HarperCollins. And it's another final volume of a trilogy. So I guess time for Thomas to get off his butt and decide which of these completed trilogies, all these completed trilogies I have laying around my office, I'm going to binge. All right then, Shattered Sun. This is by Rachel Dunn. This comes out December the 4th. And it is the final volume in the Sword and Sorcery Bound Gods trilogy. And the earlier volumes were In the Shadow of Gods, which was out in 2014, and then The Bones of the Earth. It says perfect for fans of Joe Abercrombie and Robin Hobb. Dark, gritty, epic fantasy at its best. Okay. In this dark, thrilling story of a vibrant world whose fate lies in the hands of vengeful gods and bold warriors, readers will finally receive the answer to the burning question, will the gods be released from their imprisonment, and do they even deserve to be? All right then, so there you have it. Big epic fantasy on December the 4th, finishing up a trilogy, The Shattered Sun by Rachel Dunn. And next up from Random Penguin, this is a DAW book. It's called The Late Great Wizard. The author is Sarah Hanover, and I believe it is out now from DAW Books. So let's see what this one's all about. No sell sheet. Thank you. With her father vanished under suspicious circumstances and her old life destroyed, Tessa Andrews is determined to pick up the pieces and forge ahead. If only their borrowed house didn't shake and rumble as if haunted. But at least she and her mom have a roof over their heads, so her luck couldn't be all bad, could it? As if to prove her wrong, Tessa gets an urgent call for help one night from crusty old Professor Brandard. one of the people on her charity mules route. She dashes over only to find the house in flames and the professor gone. A handsome young man steps out of the ashes to request her assistance, claiming to be the professor and a phoenix wizard. She not only has to believe in him, but in magic, for an ancient evil is awakening, and it will take the two of them, plus a few shady friends, to stand against it. The late great wizard desperately needs to get his mojo back because the rejuvenation ritual has gone horribly wrong. If only Brandard regains all his magic, no, only if Brandard, regains all his magic, do they stand any chance of defeating this deadliest of perils. Okay then, well, there you go. The Late Great Wizard from Sarah Hanover, and it is available now from Daw Books. Yeah, next up we have a big thick one from Random Penguins. So, we're getting close to the bottom. 3 more. Okay, this is a lot more like it. Been looking forward to this one. This is the arc for Thin Air by Richard K. Morgan. He's the author of Altered Carbon, which has become a Netflix series, as I'm sure you know. And this is a new, I don't know if this is a standalone or what. Yeah, it's available October the 23rd, it says, from Del Rey Books. And, well, let me just go ahead and see what it has to say about itself. Morgan returns to the world of SF Noir with a riveting tale of crime, corruption, and deadly crisis on a planet teetering close to the edge. On a Mars where ruthless commercial interests violently collide with a homegrown independence movement, as Earth-based overlords battle for profits and power, Hakan Vale is an ex-corporate enforcer, equipped with military-grade body tech that's made him a human-killing machine. But he's had enough of the turbulent red planet, and all he wants is a ticket back home, which is just what he's offered by the Earth Oversight Organization, in exchange for being the bodyguard for an EO investigator. It's a beyond easy gig for a heavy hitter like Vale, until it isn't. When Vale's charge, Madison Madekwe, starts looking into the mysterious disappearance of a lottery winner, she stirs up a hornet's nest of intrigue and murder. And the deeper Vale is drawn into the dangerous game being played, the more long-buried secrets claw their way to the Martian surface. Now it's the expert assassin on the wrong end of a lethal weapon, as Vale stands targeted by powerful enemies hell-bent on taking him down by any means necessary. Alright then, so it's more of that gritty, dark, violent, grim future, cyberpunk stuff, and if it's done well, it can be very, very exciting indeed. So we'll see. But October 23rd, Thin Air, from Richard K. Morgan. And another one from Del Rey, another arc. This is for Sisters of the Fire by Kim Wilkins. It is the sequel to Daughters of the Storm, which came out earlier this year, and I have sitting right over there on the shelf, so I guess I'll pick it up. This comes out February the 5th from Del Rey, and it says, in a fantasy series featuring 5 unforgettable sisters, the warrior, the magician, the lover, the zealot, and the gossip, okay, an insidious threat from the past jeopardizes the fragile peace they have built. Okay, so 4 years have passed since, I guess, the events of the previous novel, and I guess I don't really want to read a whole heck of a lot more. You know, spoilers, obviously. But I guess, yeah, if you want an epic fantasy series about sisters, you know, doing it for themselves, well then, here you go. But February the 5th for Sisters of the Fire, sequel to Daughters of the Storm, from Del Rey Books. And the final Random Penguin package for this week. And it is the finished copy of Search Image, new book by Julie Cherneda, which is in her Web Shifters series. Now, this is a series about, I guess, the adventures of this little alien called Essen, which is almost like this little protoplasmic blob of a life form. Here's the history. All right, the earlier series, which is called Web Shifters, started 20 years ago, 1998, started with this book right here, Beholder's Eye, and 2 sequels. And at the time, I remember I read Beholder's Eye and was like, maybe not my thing. But, you know, in the intervening years, I'm thinking that I probably want to get back into this, try it again, and then, like, read the whole trilogy to kind of see, because this happens, you know, quite often. Sometimes I'll change my opinion. But then there's also the case of, you know, I am the worst when it comes to reading book 1 of a trilogy and then not finishing it. And so I want to correct that habit. So I have already got plans, because since I dug this out of my, you know, deep pile, Beholder's Eye, I've already got plans to reread the first Web Shifters trilogy because I would like to read this as well. Well, let me just go ahead and read you what Beholder's Eye is all about, just so you get more of the flair of it. United in their natural form, they are one, sharing all of their memories, experiences, and lives. The web. Apart, they are 5, the only existing members of their ancient race, a species with the ability to assume any form once they understand its essence. Their continued survival in a universe filled with races ready to destroy anyone perceived as different is based on the rules. Capital R, the rules. And first among those rules is never reveal your true nature to another being. But when the youngest among them, Essen Aletquar, receives her first independent assignment to a world considered safe to explore, she stumbles into a trap no one could have anticipated. Her only means of escape lies in violating the first rule. She reveals herself to a fellow captive, a human being. While this mistake might not ordinarily prove fatal, the timing of the event could not be worse, for something new has finally made its way into this universe, the enemy of the web, bringer of death to all forms of life, and the hunt is about to begin. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like I probably should have found it a lot more exciting than I did. Maybe I just wasn't in the right place at the time. So I'm going to reread this trilogy and then take on Search Image. And I guess I'll let you guys know what I think, won't I? And there we have it. That is the mailbag for September the 17th. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe. If you haven't done so, that is how SFF180 grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like getting to see these videos early. I want to thank all my Patreon people for their extra $2 a month support. It's very helpful and very much appreciated. I want to thank all the rest of you for being amazing viewers. And until I see you all next time, happy reading.